Hello everyone, today it's time for a new video and we're going to talk about these Philips CPO bulbs. I talked about these bulbs a bit in a video from a few weeks ago, and I had quite some people that didn't know about the existence of this bulb and asked me to make a video about it. So here we are. And these are actually pretty interesting discharge bulbs. Like, they're from the same, or pretty similar to, let's say, a CDM or CDO bulbs. And this is something that actually only Philips made, like around this time, and we're talking the late 2000s here. There were a lot of brands that were kind of just creating their own bulbs, and this one was Philips, and it was actually got quite a bit of buzz in Europe, at least. There are, like, for example, England and also the Netherlands has quite a fair amount of these, and I think Germany does as well. Though I do have to say, in my opinion, these bulbs are pretty shit. They don't really last that long, and they're very expensive, I think, or at least relatively more expensive than compared to, say, a CDM or CDO bulb. And they were just kind of late to the party. But what is pretty good about these bulbs is like the color index and everything. They are very bright, relatively efficient. Their color code is 2800K or 728. What's kind of strange is that the 45 watt version is actually 628, so for some reason the color rendering on that one is a bit worse than on the other ones. And let's take a look at the box at one of them. We see the Philips logo, Master Cosmo White is what they call it, CPO-TW, 45 watts, 628 or 728 is color rendering, and it has a very interesting base as well, but we'll get onto that later. 4900 lumens for a 50 or 45 watts, which is pretty decent, but not compared to a low pressure sodium or LED bulb. Made in Belgium, and what's actually pretty interesting is that not for sale in the US, that they actually wrote that on the box for some reason. I don't know why. I want to make it clear that this is Europe only for some reason. And we have them in 4 wattages. We have 45, 60, 90 and 140 watts. And let's actually unbox them. This is what the 45 watt looks like, and as you can see, the base here has a very different base, and you can see these two pins on the end, and one is bigger than the other, so you can't just screw the bulb in just one way into the socket. The 60 watt is actually exactly the same for some reason, I don't know why. But this is the 90 watt, which, as you can see, compared to the 40 is a bit bigger, and also the filament is a lot larger, but the 60 watt version is actually exactly the same size as the 45 watt, which is kind of confusing. There's not really a difference there. And then the 140, which is the largest, has a thicker filament than the 90 watts, but the sizes are pretty similar. One another fun detail about these bulbs is, or fun, it's not that fun, is that the edge here, as you can see, there's a metal edge on the bulb itself, is incredibly sharp, so you have to be careful whenever you twist the bulb in at the base that you don't cut yourself open, which I have done many times. Which I didn't really know why you would do that, to be honest. And these bulbs run on this Philips Dynavision electronic ballast. They are dimmable, and Philips, this is basically the latest style of ballast that Philips uses or has used. And I think the ballast themselves of these bulbs are pretty decent. They rarely ever fail. It's just the bulbs itself that give out after 2 years. So to screw the bulb in, which this is the setup that we'll be using for now. This is a 45 watt version of the bulb. So you have to make sure that the two pins with the different sizes are in the right hole, and you have to twist it a bit and then it's in. And let's have this bulb start up. And what I really like about the startup of these bulbs is that they go through a lot of different colors. Like it starts out very deep, almost bluish, but it's very cold white. And sometimes they are a little bit greenish as well, just like mercury vapor. And then they quickly gain brightness, and then they're slowly turning into more of a warm white color. But they are very harsh to the eyes, like it's a very small, just like with any CDM kind of bulb, it's a very small filament that burns, to say, compared to a high or low pressure sodium, which does hurt the eyes a bit, but as you can see it's now warming up into a nice color. It's at least nice and warm white. But like the startup is very different to a CDM. I think this one gets a bit deeper with its colors and takes a little longer. But it has reached this final brightness. And these bulbs get very, very hot, just like with a CDM. They're actually very similar to a CDM. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say about this bulb. To be fair, there's not that much more to it. They're also getting rare in the Netherlands too. It's kind of sad that this bulb didn't have a longer lifespan that it had, because it came so close to the LED movement. But it is what it is, and thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video.